Hey everyone, my name is Jeremy Persing and welcome to a video on how you can add shareable links to your Nextjs application. So to give you an example, I'm going to start off with my very own website, revesta.net. This is a stock website. It's where you can do fundamental stock analysis, and one of the features that I've created is I've allowed people to screen for different stocks. So I'll go here and show you one of my screens that I think is pretty valuable. It's called 100 baggers, and this is the criteria for the 100 baggers screen. Now, it'd be real nice to have a button on the screen so that I can share it with somebody and they wouldn't have to input all of this criteria by themselves. And maybe we could sort the table as well, something like that. But as you can see, this just isn't possible, because if we just take the URL here and enter it into another tab, we'll see that we get that blank screen that we got initially. And that's one of the downfalls here of the React framework, or the Nextjs framework, is that we have these stateful variables, and unless we initialize them to something meaningful, they're just going to be empty. So that's kind of what I'm doing right now. How we can initialize them to be something meaningful, we can just use the URL here, and we'll create some search parameters in that URL. So that's really all you have to do. And the end goal of this here is just to have a button on the screen where the user, they can press on it. It'll either copy the URL with all the meaningful data in it, or it will just pop up some share modal, like you'll see on if you're using your phone, and they can share the URL that way. So I've got a working example of this, and we'll just go to my development version here and we'll go through it. So let me go to the screeners here, and we'll choose the same screen here, 100 baggers. And here we have the share button, so we'll click on that. We get this copied, the shareable URL, so we notify the user that the URL has been copied and they can send it to wherever they please. So we'll just open up a new tab, enter in that URL, and here we get hit with the same exact criteria that we were just looking at. And I had filtered the table, I had sorted the table such that the market cap was descending, so that also went into effect. Now, how do you actually do this in your own website? So let's head over to the code real quick. And actually I can just minimize the browser. So first things first is you need to implement the use router hook within your Nextjs application, within the page that you want to implement this button. So that's what I've done here. This is on a different page, but the concept is the same. This is just a page with cleaner code. So let's go to that. So use router. And what you want to do is get this query field from the router. And this will just get all the different search queries within the URL. And once you have that, let me close this. Once you have that, you can go to your stateful variables that you're using to interact with different data, fetch data, or whatever. So for me, here on this page, that is the tickers. So if tickers is in the query parameter, then I'm just going to parse the query parameter, and if not, then the variable will just be undefined. And that's pretty much all you have to do for initializing the variable. Now for creating that link and setting that up, let's go down to it. You'll just have to implement a button here, and you'll have to assign it an onClick event. Now for this onClick event, I've created a function, and let's go and see what that does. So what this function does is it gets the base URL, and then it appends whatever endpoint and query that you assign it. So this is on a different page. It's called portfolio compare. So I just pass in the endpoint, and then depending on whether or not there are tickers, I will pass in the tickers query parameter. And this will be an important step. So don't miss this one. Make sure to clean the URL parameters and then stringify the value, especially if it's an object or an array. And if you want to look at the code for cleaning the URL parameter, let's take a look at that real quick. All you have to do is just replace the ampersand sign with %26, and that will save you a major headache. And just to show you why, it'll be because if we add something like ampersand in here, we'll get an error, because usually that indicates that there's another query parameter in the URL. But so here we're seeing at position 39, so right there it's saying that rater, it's expecting rater to equal something essentially. So that's the whole issue there. But let's head back to the code. So once you've done that, you just have to enter in the object, and then let's go back to the URL or share URL function. And then here we create the share data object. It'll contain a title, text, and URL. And then we'll see if the window navigator exists, and if we can share, then we will share. And as you can see here, this only works with HTTPS, so it's not going to work in development. However, we can combat this by just copying the URL to our clipboard, and that's what I'm doing in this try catch block. And if this is done successfully, I notify the user with a toast pop-up, and if I get an error during this, I notify them via a red toast pop-up. So that's all that you have to do for that, and I hope that this video was useful, and thank you very much for watching.